Hello and welcome to Mining Review Africa, and today we are speaking to Dewald Tintinger, who is the Technical Director at Weba Chute Systems, about addressing unique challenges at an iron ore mine in Sierra Leone. Dewald, always great to chat to you.
Thanks for having me.
Okay.
Thank you.
Now, Weba Chute Systems is known for its expertise in dry bulk materials handling. Can you explain the challenges being experienced in the wet plant at this particular iron ore operation in Sierra Leone?
Sure. So the client has faced some screening efficiency issues, and that resulted in, instead of screening out the oversize and getting that onto a conveyor belt back to the recirculating circuit, they've actually had a lot of slurry and water go over the screen onto this belt, which is obviously not meant to go onto that conveyor, and that led to excessive spillage, mud all over the place, continuous cleaning, downtime of the plant, and obviously insufficient screening. So yeah, the challenge was for us to try and help them to get the screens to operate as intended, and to ensure that we're only sending the oversized material through the circulating section of the plant.
Absolutely. Now, when you assess the transfer point, what are the key flow problems affecting screen performance?
So there's a couple of things actually in this specific transfer chute. One of them being that the chute was designed to split onto two separate screens. It's twin screens if we want, and because of going out to the two legs, we had most of the material actually sitting on the outside of the screens at uncontrolled velocity. So going basically skew loaded onto the screen at high velocities, which obviously also affects the screening efficiency if it goes over too fast, but also not centrally loaded and properly distributed over the screen. And one of the other challenges that they actually have is being a mirror twin setup. The mill rotation causes bias feed to one side, so that actually caused them to have 60% on one screen and 40 on the other. So that also doesn't help with the screening efficiency.
Absolutely. Now, Dewald, Weba Chute Systems has decades of experience. So tell me, how did your understanding of material behavior guide the development of a more controlled and balanced feed solution?
Yeah, I think we're dipping our toes in the wet section at the moment, but ultimately understanding the equipment that we are dealing with, and also just general flow, material flow behavior, and I think that experience gained over the years. I mean, you just look at something a bit different to the normal bloke, so we can then see what's happening and already have solved similar problems in the dry sector. We could obviously take over to the wet plant and apply those changes to help them with a bit better screening efficiency.
Okay, well, just based on what you said, what engineering features were incorporated into the custom solution to ensure material control?
Yeah, so firstly we had to ensure that we get the same amount of material to each screen. So again, being a mirror of each other, so we had to put in a deflector that we could manually adjust so that we could get the 50-50 split rather than a 60-40. After that, the key focus was to spread across the screen, each of the screens when we loaded at a controlled velocity. So we did that by just above each screen incorporating a flood box, which we could reduce the velocity, and also some adjustable gauge to ensure that we load centrally into that flood box, which ultimately will flow evenly over onto your screen at a reduced velocity.
Okay. One final question, Dewald. How did the redesign ultimately improve screening efficiency as well as plant uptime? Yeah,
so with the even spread that we managed to get at the end of the day at a reduced velocity, the screen was obviously now way more efficient. All the slurry or the concentrate went through the screening panels, and we literally only saw the oversize meant to go through the recirculating plant go out onto the conveyor, which eliminated as such the mud and the water that they got on the conveyor belt.
Absolutely. Well, Dewald, always great to chat to you. Thank you for joining us on Mining Review Africa today.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.